Today I want to talk to you about a line of spas called Be Well. As you know, we in our showrooms we carry the Arctic Spas Core, Classic and Custom series, but in addition to that we brought in this lineup, the Be Well lineup, to address a price point issue. We wanted a spa that could be in that lower end of the medium range for pricing so that we get more people into hot tubs. But because we're Arctic and we want product that's going to be suitable for all weather climates and stuff, I was tasked with the job of finding a line of spas that was quite similar to the way the Arctics are built. Now there's certainly some differences, but I wanted to go over, first of all, what's the same. So the core design of the product is the same in that Be Well utilizes the perimeter heat lock insulation system, meaning the insulation is primarily on the outside edges of the spa, and of course the cover being the top and the floor being the insulation on the bottom. So you have an insulated box and the equipment is inside that insulated box. Now, what's critically important is that we're able to do the heat transfer. So the shell of the spa from Be Well is actually built exactly the same way we build the Custom and Classic Series Arctic Spa shell, meaning that it's an acrylic with a vinyl ester skin coat and then a polyester fiberglass coating until it gets to a nice thickness where it's structurally sound. I wanted to take a minute to just show the inside of the no maintenance cabinet. Now, we've actually removed, on this side, we've removed the insulation so that you could see this, but you can see there's no foam on the shell. So like the Arctics, there's no foam on the shell, and this is a fiberglass shell. So if I put my hand on here, it's going to radiate the heat. This is like the hot water vessel, a hot water bottle inside an insulated box, and you can actually see what the insulation looks like when you look through the sides there. You can see it. It's the kind of SF type foam. It's got the metallized barrier to reflect cold away from it. So you got this, it's about a 2-inch barrier in here, and so this, and the floor has the insulation, this has the insulation, of course you have your cover on top. So it's a completely insulated box. It's not quite as robust of insulation as you'd have on Arctic with the spray foam, because the spray foam like seals every little crack, but I have to say it really does seal well. We actually have to, they've got little units that allow us to pull the stuff out because it fits so tightly, right? You see it has a solid substructure. But that the shell itself doesn't require any substructure. There's no beams or metal reinforcements under here or PVC pipes or wood or anything like that. It's a self-supporting hull. And that's really important because if I start putting stuff underneath there, then this shell can flex and that can cause cracking over the long term, right? So it's a really well-built product. Uses the exact same pumps we're using on the top of the line Arctics, using the exact same equipment pack that we use on Core and Classic. Just a really great spa. Now these are also built in Canada. These are built right in Lachute, Quebec, and it's an excellent facility. They build spas for cold places just like Arctic does. They're kind of an up-and-coming spa manufacturer. I guess I kind of see them as like an Arctic Light. But what I like about them is they're a very feature-rich product line. The electronics that they're using on these are the same manufacturer, Gecko Electronics, the YE5 series, which is what we use on the Core product as well as on the Classic product for Arctics. So it's the same electronic controls. In fact, the top sides that they use is a step up than we use on either Core or Classic. So it's a really nice top side. In fact, on the Maple series and on the 920 product, it's using a full touchscreen, which we'll see when we go through the individual models. But Be Well uses no maintenance cabinetry on all of their spas, and you can see it's a really nice looking product. It uses the under the lip style, which is like on a Core, and basically it's the industry standard now. Most companies don't use the top and bottom rails, so that's one difference you'll see between the Arctic Classic and the Arctic Custom Series spas. The filtration system is utilizing that kind of active skimmer concept. It's a standard generic filter that I like, so it can utilize our Silver Sentinel filter or depth filters. The Be Well product also has the built-in headrest, really nice designed molds. One of the things I like about the Be Well product is that when they put lounges in the spa, they follow the same philosophy Arctic does, which is we don't have these seats tilted back too far. We want you sitting more in an upright position with the legs extended out when you're in a lounge, because if we tilt it back too far, then what ends up happening is that your bottom lifts up and you fly out of the seat, particularly when you have jets and bubbles and stuff lifting you up out of the lounge. So these upright lounges are really, really a good use of space. As well, you sit in the spa in a way that you're not going to float out. So we want to be able to massage you. That's how we do it. You see there's an excellent distribution of jets. All of the Be Wells that we're bringing in have a lot of jets in them. They have at least 2 pumps. On many of the series, they also have a blower in them as well. Some have the blower. I think actually maybe only the 354 has the blower in it, which gives you a 3rd pump actually. We like the fact that everything that is used in the spa is very similar to what we have in the Arctic. So for our technicians, it's very easy for us to repair. They have access panels from all sides, the same as on Arctics, so that if we have to get into one of the sides that maybe the equipment's not at, we can still get into that side. And as you can see, there's a lot of jets in the spa, so being able to access from all sides allows us over time, if we ever have to address a leak or if we ever have to repair any fittings or anything like that, it's easy enough for us to be able to do that. Another thing that I think is really great about their spa is that, like Arctic, they believe that you need a nice big thick cover on top, and I can't stress this enough. In cold places, the lid of the spa is your attic, so it's where most of the heat escapes on spas. So having a nice thick cover is going to give you better insulation. It's also going to be able to handle snow load better. It is a tapered cover, so that allows water to run off of the cover, so there's a good taper on there. The cover does have built-in locks that affix to the side of the cabinet, and we recommend everybody get a lifter mounted system. This creates a barrier from one side. It also keeps the cover from slamming down into the ground and eventually wearing out that way, right? It's made with nice marine grade vinyl that has a -20 cold crack. So it's a great cover, comparable to what we have. It doesn't have the Milovac like we have on the custom and classic series spas, but it's still every bit as good as any cover that anybody else out there offers, and I would say it's even better than the covers that are offered on the Core Series Arctic spas. So it's a very good cover. Drains to allow water to drain through so it doesn't absorb water that way. This spa itself is just an excellent layout. The fittings and stuff that are utilized are all industry standard fittings. It's got underwater lighting, backlit fittings, so your top fittings and stuff are backlit. There's water features built in as well. It's just the Be Well line is an excellent value for the money that you spend lineup. We're going to go through each of the models, so stick with us and we'll run you through each model in the Be Well series, so you can decide at home which one might work for you. Okay, so the 354 is side-by-side lounge spa. This is a spa that was recently featured on Czech TV and the radio station, the Q's Love Tub. So this is a really cool model. It's not a very large footprint. We're finding that about half of the people that we get through the doors are not really interested in the big party tubs anymore. They're interested in just a small tub for themselves. So this one we rate as a 3 to 4 person. It's a pretty cozy 4-person, but it's an unbelievably great 2-person spa. It features side-by-side loungers. So if you have a view, both of you can be looking at the view. The seating is slightly different. One sits up a little bit higher than the other. One's a little deeper. Both of the lounges sit upright, which is a feature that I think is really important. If you're looking at spas that have lounges in them, you want this design where the back sits up more, so that you're more like in a lazy boy chair position. You know, the back is up, but the foot part is out, or think of a chair with an ottoman at the end. That way you're sitting in a position that you can stay in the seat when the jetting's on. So there is a third seat in this spa that faces the two lounges. So if you do have some extra people and you want to be able to fit more people in the spa, you can. It is pretty cozy, but the nice thing is there's only going to be one person with their feet in the footwell area, because the other two are in the lounge seats. There is a high cool-off seat as well. This seat is nice for when you get overheated. You can sit up out of the water and cool off. It also makes it a really good spot to enter and exit the spa. If you want to step in, use it as a step internally in the tub. Some people also like to get in on the lounge, so you can step on the bottom of either of the lounges to get in as well. Really just a nice layout of the spa itself. There's 3 air controls, so you can control the air to the individual seats, so one for each of the lounges and one for the seat that sits opposite the lounges. There is also a water feature here that's activated by this valve here. That'll turn this water feature on. These are backlit. We'll show you when I get to the top side over there, going over the top side. And then with all spas that we sell, this spa is got ozone into it as well. We'll add our Saltron Mini salt system to it. So it's ozone salt, just like you'd get on any of our other spas. So it's a great little tub. What I like about it is we have a similar spa in the Arctic lineup in the Classic series called Timberwolf, and it is really virtually the same seating as the Timberwolf, but it comes at a price point that's a lot more attractive to a lot of people when you consider what you get. You know, you're getting 2 full water pumps in this spa. I believe it's 54 jets. I haven't counted them all, but yeah, there's an awful lot of jets in there. So this particular tub is the only one in our lineup that has a blower built into it. You know, one of the reasons I didn't promote blowers a lot on spas is they used to be quite loud. This one's quite, it's not very noisy, and it really does make the water move around a lot and gives you a nice gentle massage. It's also good to cool the water off in the summer months if you're finding your tub's a little too hot and you want to cool it off a few degrees. Turn the blower on for a little while. It gets everything moving and introduces air that's cooler than the water into the tub, and that'll help cool it down if you wanted to use it for that purpose as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the features from the topside control, so you can see how this thing works. Nice display, large enough, full color display. It even has animated icons. If I want to adjust, right now it's sitting at 98. If I wanted to increase the temperature, I just use the up arrow, and that's going to tell it to come on. And it initiates the jetting. You saw the skimmer. This would be normally the filtration mode as well. So usually for a few hours each day by default. We usually like at least 4 hours up to 8 hours. It's going to filter on this low speed. This is when the spa would also be producing some heat from the motor that we'd be capturing and using to heat the spa with that heat lock, heat transfer. The topside itself allows me to control things like the lighting. So I can turn on and off the lighting. It's LED lighting. As you can see, the controls are backlit, and there's an underwater light as well. If I wanted to change the color, it's just in advance. So you just press it and it advances to the next one. There's color wheels. There's a bunch of standard colors built in. If I want my jet pump to come on high speed, back to low speed, the second jet pump, you can see that this one here is just water. The air has not been initiated. So if I open up the air control, that's going to bring air into the jets as well. Gives you a little more power. You see there's a water feature as well. So it's a backlit water feature. It's kind of a cool little feature. If I shut that pump off, that still runs off of pump 1. And that's on the low speed again. If I wanted to turn it off, I simply turn the valve. It lowers it down, shuts it off. You can see right now it's skimming the surface. This active skim filter is really nice because as people get in to the water and the water level rises, this is going to rise up to whatever that is. And it's going to allow stuff that's floating on the top to be skimmed into the filter itself, which is a really nice feature. It takes a generic filter from a size point of view, and so you can use our Silver Sentinel. You could use a traditional pleated filter if you want. I like the Silver Sentinel disposable filters just because they work extremely well, and it takes away one of the jobs that people don't like doing, which is cleaning filters. And really, they last up to 6 months, and they do an amazing job. Just makes it easier to look after. That's kind of a theme that we have with all of our spas, is we want to make sure that, you know, the maintenance of this doesn't become a chore. That's one of the main reasons why we like these salt systems and ozone systems, to help make it so that customers themselves don't have to do a lot. The top side is capable of switching the display. So if I'm inside and I want to control it, I can invert the display or turn the display the other way, depending on whether or not I'm trying to do play with the buttons from the outside or from the inside of the spa. And that's really all there is to the 354. It's a beautiful little tub. I did want to demo the blower. I mentioned the blower earlier, so I turn on the blower. You can hear, normally the blower has a really loud kind of vacuum cleaner sound to it, but this one's a completely silent blower. I'm very impressed with it. I stopped pushing blowers a long time ago because, you know, you'd be lying in there and you're listening to this sound that sounds like a vacuum cleaner. It wasn't really a relaxing sound. Now the only sound that you're hearing is actually the movement of the water. So if you're in there and you wanted to have a conversation, probably don't want that on. But you can see that's a really lots of motion of water. It's a really soft massage. I quite like it. It also will cool the tub down. After about 30 or 40 seconds, it evacuates the air from inside the cabinet, which is heated, and then you'll start drawing in colder air. And that's pretty much it. It's fully programmable, so there's all kinds of water care stuff that we can do here. You can set a maintenance schedule. It has the date and time in it, so I can tell it that I want to have my filter cycles changed, or I want to change anything. It's all from a really nice display that's easy to control, easy for customers to see. The nice thing about color is we can actually have animated icons on there, so you can see, oh yeah, if I have the pumps running, for instance, you can actually see the icon moving around inside there, right on the top side display. You can see it spinning in there, and if I turn it high, it actually keeps it spinning. If I turn on the second one, it starts spinning. If I initiate the blower, you can see the little bubbles coming on the display. It's really nice. You know, it's a long way from the air button days on the spas. So that's the Be-Well 354. I think if you're looking for something that can fit into a tight spot, it's a really small footprint. It's something that for a couple, it gives you each your own lounge seat, so nobody's arguing about who gets the lounge or who doesn't get the lounge. Lots of features, lots of jetting for a small tub. This tub is really a loaded up model at a very reasonable price. It's one of the hottest sellers in our stores right now, so I encourage you to take advantage of the fact that we actually have these in stock as well. So, you know, put your name on one and let's get you into a hot tub quickly. The Be-Well 354. Continuing to show you the Be-Well line of spas. The one sitting in front of me right here is a part of their party series, they call, but it's more than a party spa. What I do like about it, though, is it is a medium-sized spa, 7 foot by 7 foot rough dimensions, with a built-in lounger. Like all of the lounges that we recommend, it's an upright lounge. So this lounge sits up nice and high. There's a pocket. You've got armrests on the one side to kind of hold you in and prevent you from sliding into the water. Lots of jetting all the way down the lounge, all the way up the back, even hand jets or wrist jets, depending on how you want to use those there. Foot jets at the bottom of the lounge. This also has jetting everywhere. I think there's 72 jets on 2 pumps in this. It's called the 910 party tub. We have another model almost identical to this, except that it has 3 pumps in it. But the 910 is designed to hit that price point that's going to get most people can afford this spa in their backyard. Built-in headrests, 4 built-in headrests, air controls to control various zones of air being injected through the jets. Each zone is controlled by its own controller. There is a water feature on here, which you'll see on the opposite side. There's those 2 little fittings actually pop up and laminar flows come out of those, and those are controlled by this valve right here. Next to that, you can actually see there's a larger fitting. This fitting here, this is designed to shift the flow from one area of the spa to another area of the spa. So because there's 2 pumps and a lot of jets on here, this allows you to move and zone the jetting, so you can switch from one zone to the other just by moving this instead of actually having to turn off these on and off. Now, it is nice that each of these jets can be turned on and off, so you have control of the flow. There's quite an assortment of jets as well. You'll notice that there's these directional jets where you can pinpoint a specific spot, and then there's these pulsating jets, which gives you that thumping kind of shiatsu type massage. Really nice from that point of view. There is we call a Volcano style jet, but it's not like, it doesn't take the full force. On all the other Volcano jets that we have, this is just an additional jet. So it gets its flow, and you can put pretty good flow out there, but you can't put the flow of one whole pump out that. On some of the other models, we can use the diverter to divert to the Volcano jet, and it'll actually shoot right up out of the spa. Just so that everybody's clear, on the 910 model, it's a foot jet. It is not the traditional Volcano jet that will come right up out of the spa. Why I like it is you've got lots of deep seating in this spa. There is multi-levels of seating. It's quite easy to reach foot jets, so even if you're smaller, you can sit in the higher seat and reach a foot jet. That is another benefit of having that centrally located jet. You can also use that jet on different areas of your body. If you want to sit in the footwell itself, you can use it on different parts of your back. You could use it on the front of your knees. There's quite a few options with that. I really like the fact that even though you've got a lounge in here, you could definitely fit 6 people in this spa quite easily. So it's a really popular model. One last feature, and probably why they give this the party spa name, is it's got this little ice bucket here. So if you want to chill a few drinks and stuff, it's got a drain built into it. So as the ice melts, you don't have to worry about scooping it out, or otherwise it drains out of the tub in this little ice bucket area here. The B-wells come with a nice thick cover, 5 to 4-inch tapered cover to allow the water to run off. The cover is lockable, so it's an ASTM rated safety cover. Just a fantastic spa. I think that if you're on a bit of a budget and you can't really afford maybe the Arctic line, that's why we brought these in. You know, a similar Arctic would be $3,000 or $4,000 more than this spa, and yet this is constructed very, very similarly to that. It's a lot like our Classics is with regard to warranty and stuff like that, so it's in a similar range to there. So it's a really great value spa. Feature rich, lots of jets, LED lighting, water features, great cover, no maintenance cabinet, access from all sides, and of course it features that perimeter insulation, which allows us to recover the waste heat from the pump motors to help in heating the spa, which is going to lower your monthly bill. This is the 910 Party Spa from B-Well. I hope you like it. Hello and welcome to another video. This is John Keirstead. I'm John Keirstead from Arctic Spas Vancouver Island, and today we're talking about the 915 from B-Well, a new model that they introduced. Now, you might have guessed, we already talked about the 910 and the 920. The 915 is kind of a hybrid of both of those. So the 910, the 915, and the 920 all share the exact same shell. meaning the configuration of the seating and stuff is exactly the same in all of those. And in each case, it's a 72 jet spa. The 910 and the 915 are 2-pump versions of that, and the 920 is a 3-pump version of that. So there's some differences there. So what do the 915 have, or what does the 915 have that the 910 doesn't have? Well, the first thing is that this one has the stereo system. So you see in each of the corners there's these speakers that are built in. It is the Gecko stereo, which is perfectly matched to the control pack because it's made by the same company. And frankly, I was really surprised. I'm not usually a fan of stereos on spas, mainly because they have pop-up speakers and stuff, and it was just something that could go wrong. And when something went wrong with it, you had to call a technician out to your house to fix it. What's nice about this, especially with the propensity of all these great Bluetooth speakers that are waterproof now that you can use at any time, it's a great feature. But the fact that they've included this on there, and it's a beautifully sounding unit. We've sold lots of those on the 920s. Really think it's a great stereo. It's just Bluetooth, so you can use any of your devices to connect to it. Really nice feature if you like to listen to some music when you're in the spa. And because these are not a pop-up speaker, they're quite reliable. You don't have to worry about water getting into your cabinet or anything like that, which was one of the problems with the ones in the past. Another thing that this one does differently is it features the K1000 Gecko topside control. So this topside control is full color. It's like a little iPad sitting on there, and it's fully waterproof. So it's an excellent topside. And this one's not hooked up, so you can't see it, but we'll show you. It's the exact same one we featured on the Ottawa. It is Gecko's top of the line topside, and I love it. I was really surprised because most of these touch screens that I've seen on all other brands of spas, including ones that we've developed ourselves, if your hands are wet, they can be quite hard to operate. As well, when your cover shuts down, the top side sometimes makes contact. It makes continuity, and it can actually change some of your settings on your spa when you just close the lid because of condensation. Well, they've done a couple of clever things. One is they have this setup where they take one of the random icons and they make a male version of it and a female version of it. And you have to drag your finger to that to turn on the keypad, which is really a great way to solve that problem of conductivity with water from the cover. But what I was really surprised with was when I was in the spa, I actually put water on the top side and I used my wet hands, and I was still able to really control the spa without actually having to dry it. Now, I always recommend with any top side that uses touch, if they get too wet, then it can be difficult. So it's always good to have a microfiber cloth here anyway to clean any lines that might appear on your spa. Sometimes you get a bit of a waterline mark or a watermark on there. You can just use the microfiber cloth. Works really well to clean it. And you have it available to wipe this so that you can use it with your fingers. But this is by far the best topside, touch screen topside that I've seen on any spa from any brand. So I'm very impressed with it. Gecko, thumbs up. That was I know how hard it is to make one of these work with wet fingers, and they did a bang up job on it. So that's the best topside you can get on any spa. And it's got a big clear display, so it's really easy to read. And there's anything that you want to control in the spa, you can control from here. Which is a great feature because you can adjust your filter cycles, you can adjust your temperature, you can turn on your lights, but you can also set maintenance reminders and all kinds of other things on there that you can do. So it's a really robust system. And that's really the only difference between this and the 910 is it has, there's one other thing. You see these little points of light? Each one of these along the water line, that's actually an LED light in there, so an RGB LED light, which will give you along the water line. So in addition to all of your top controls lighting up, So these all are backlit as well. The water feature is backlit. There's a big underwater light that you can't see from that side. It's on the other side of the wall there next to the lounge. They all light up as well. So you can really see the top of the spa well, and then the underside of the spa is lit by the big light. So that's another nice feature. Is it something you have to have on a spa? Not really, but it's a nice to have, and you know, having some nice to have stuff on a spa is really important. A big distinction between this and the 920 is because it's only 2 pumps, the jet that's facing up from the bottom that looks like a Volcano Jet is just a foot jet. That's just a single jet that's included in one of the zones. So it's not going to create that big amount of flow that you see when you go up to the 920 or if you go into the Ottawa where you get that Volcano Jet. So if you want that Volcano Jet, the 915 is not for you. You want to go to the 920. But if that's not that important to you, then the 2-pump version of this is going to give you a good, really good massage. You can see in the lounge the jets go all the way down your body. You've got wrist jets, you've got your whole back. A really important thing about the lounge is when I look for a spa that has a lounge in it, because people in spas are often quite buoyant, especially ladies are quite buoyant in the water. If the lounge is tilted back too far, what happens is that the bottom lifts up, the bottom part of your body lifts up and you fly out of the seat. So what you'll notice here is, first of all, this sits quite upright and it's a pocket. Like it's inserted all in. You're sort of in this pocket so that you're less likely to float out, particularly when the jets are on, because the jets are going to try to lift you up out of there. So we want you to be in more of a sitting position. I tell people, think like a lazy boy chair with the foot piece out, but you're not tilted back. You're not reclined as much, right? You're still in a sitting position. The rest of the spa is multi-level seating, quite open. So you can easily fit 6, 7 people in this spa. It's a really great use of space. You've got some deep seats, you've got some shallower seats if you want to sit up. It's really a popular model because it's got a little bit of everything. So if you've got a family of 4 or 5 people, this is a great spa. Now, that said, the cost difference between a 2-person spa or a 3-person spa and this spa is not that much, maybe $400-500 difference. And so a lot of the times you get a lot more spa because we're not shaving off a piece of acrylic to make it smaller. And it's got most of those smaller tubs. If it's still got 2 pumps and it's still got a bunch of jets, you're not going to save a lot in the raw material. So this is the most popular size spa that we have, which is nominally dimensioned at about 7 feet by 7 feet. But what I like about it is that it's really a good use of space. So you can fit just as many people in this as you can in a lot of 8-foot spas that are on the market. Built-in headrests, so it's got some comfort there. You've got one diverter valve on the far side there that allows you to move the water in zones. So even though you can control each jet individually to turn it on and off, you have the ability to just shift them away, so you can control it from that fashion. A couple of air controls, 3 air controls in here, as well as one to control the water feature. So it's a valve that controls the water feature that allows you to get those 2 laminar beams coming up. And then there's a little ice bucket here that has a drain in there, so if you want to keep your drinks nice and cold, you put a few drinks in here. Make sure there's no glass, right? Only plastic or aluminum cans. And so that's the latest spa from Be-Well, the 915. I think it's a great spa. We have these in stock. So come down to Arctic Spas and see the latest feature from Be-Well and get one in your backyard soon. I am happy to show you or introduce you to the top of the line 920 Be-Well party tub. They call it a party tub. It must be the fancy lights in it. As you can see, it has LED lighting along all of your top controls. Right now it's running a program that just scrolls through. You can choose color wheel, you can choose a solid color. This particular spa has a full digital top side. So this is Gecko's top topside or top of the line topside called the K1000. This is also on the Be Well Maple series tub. It's a beautiful full color display. It's like having a little iPad, waterproof iPad built right into the spa. And so that's how I can control things like the light, right? So I can press the light on and now it's going into a different mode, right? So I believe this is color wheel. So it's slowly changing the color. Or if I hit it again on and off, it's going to do a flashing party mode there. This is a fast color wheel. And then usually there's some solid color. So you got your red, green, blue, and so on, right? So that's that. There is 2 water features there, which I'll try not to blow out of the tub this time. If I turn that, you can see those come on. And if this was dark, you'd actually see the light coming out the laminar. But it's a nice little feature. Looks pretty.
Try that again?
Yeah, this just right here. That controls that. So I can turn it so it's just trickling, if you like that trickling sound. Or if you want more of a thing. If you turn this on high speed at this point, that's going to shoot those right out of the spa. I did that earlier when we were preparing for this. So yeah, make sure you have the valve off if you're going to turn your pump on high speed. So a lot of people find that soothing. Nice little feature. This particular tub has 3 water pumps in it. So it's got the same 72 jets that you would have in the 910 party tub, but with the 920, instead of having 2 pumps, it has 3 pumps, which allows us to have more pressure per jet in the tub. As well, it has a diverter valve. So the diverter valve, I'm not really sure which of these pumps it's on. I'm going to actually divert it with the pumps off, because that's way easier to turn these valves when it's off. So I'm going to turn this, and what you're going to see is that jet down on the bottom of the footwell there. It is a Volcano Jet, and we'll very quickly discover which it's not that one. So it's not pump 1. It's pump 2. So as you can see, it really gets the water going. So that's on full blast. So you might want to not have it on full blast next time. So I'll back that off a little, and we'll try it again. And creating more work for mopping up here. Let's go. So you can see it's zoned between this seat and the corner seat and here. So you can use that valve to control. You can turn it when it's on high speed, but it's a little harder to turn. If it's off, then that valve is very easy to turn. All touchscreen controls. As you can see, even though it's wet, it is working. But I will mention to people that whenever you're working with any of these types of touchscreens and stuff, if my hands are really wet and the top side's wet, it may not pick it up. So I tell people have a microfiber cloth so that you can, just wipe this here, make sure your finger's dry, and then that way you always can touch this and it'll work. If you find it's not responding, it's most likely because your fingers are wet. You can invert the display. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Yeah, right here. Right? You see it says normal. That's if I'm on the outside. If I go inverted, it flips it so that you can use it from the inside of the tub. Since we're out here, I'm going to flip it back to normal, and it flips back. Right? The other thing is you control your temperature with up-down arrows. So if I want it to go up, I want it to go down, I can change it. This one also has a feature that a lot of tubs don't have, but Arctic is always worried about. We always want to make sure that, some people, they've had hot tubs for a very long time, and the old mechanical thermostats were quite inaccurate. So even though the display would say 102 or 103, it would actually be 104 or 105. Or they've relied on a ducky floating around, or a ducky thermometer, and the ducky thermometer says it's only 102, but in fact it's actually 104 105 or something like that. So some people that have had spas like them really hot. And for UL approval, we have to cap it at 104, which is 40 degrees Celsius. But we do have a feature where we can actually increase this. Now see, it's not letting me go past 104. That's the cap. But we have a secret. If you hold this, it'll override. See, override up to 106. Right? So you can actually, if you really want a hot tub, you can actually override. And that's just to engage the heater now. Right? So I'm going to turn it back. Now what's interesting, you notice I'm under the set point now, but it's still on. Well, that's because it turned the heater on, and when the heater's been on, it's like a stove element almost inside the water there. So when that thing's on, if I just shut it off, then the water that's inside that tube would get very, very hot, and it would send an error saying, hey, the water in the tub's too hot, and cause some problems. So this is actually engaged in a cool-off cycle. So it's gonna run at low speed for 3 minutes until that cools down, right? So this is using the Gecko YE5 controls. Very, very good spa pack. This also has the in-stream stereo system. I generally don't recommend building spas into, or building stereos into spas, because nowadays you can go buy a portable, speaker that you can use not only when you're in the spa. You could use that when you're outside doing anything, or use it in your house as well. So having it built in, but this is the party tub, so I think they thought it'd be a good idea. So I actually hooked it up to my phone here earlier. We'll see if I'm still hooked up. It's Bluetooth. There's a couple of other ways you can connect if you don't have Bluetooth, but Bluetooth seems to be the easy way most people do it. So I'll just see if I'm connected here. Well, I'll go to music here. So there's a music icon. I press the music icon, I hit play, and now I'm playing through these speakers. So these speakers, actually, I was pretty impressed with the sound. So I'd play some hard rock music or some classic rock right now, but then I'd have all kinds of copyright issues that I'd have to deal with. So we have some generic rights-free music for you to listen to here. So thank you for whoever produced this music for us. It's awesome. Anyway, so it has that feature in there. It's much like playing music off an iPad. You can control all of it from the top side of the unit itself, like it was an iPad, or you could control it from your phone. You have both choices available to you. So that's the music. We can. Now it's playing rock music. Nobody heard that. Okay. Of course, we can control all of the other functions from the spa from here. So if I want to set the filtration cycle, if I want to set a maintenance schedule so that I remember to check the filter or that sort of thing, can all be done from here. This particular spa, we actually have been purifying with the Saltron Mini. I don't have the actual electrode in. I took it out for the video, but it just hangs in the side. We do have the anode just sitting near the filter there. And you can see it's already doing its job, which is to take metals out of there instead of wrecking the plate of your electrode. You'll also notice this little unit right here. This is actually your wine bucket. So if you want to put some wine or a couple of drinks or something in there, you could put, doesn't have to be wine, of course, you could have a non-alcoholic beverage as well, but if you want to keep your beverages cold. It does have a drain on it that drains right out the bottom. Party tub also features cabinet lighting, which is nice, exterior cabinet lighting. So a pretty high-end version of their tub. Like the other B-Wells, it comes with a polar sized cover. So it's got like a full 5-inch to 4-inch tapered cover that's built very well. And certainly it's the most important area to insulate. Just a really great spa. 72 jets. It uses the same seating configuration as the 910. So it's got the no-float kind of lounge where you're sitting more upright with a nice pocketed area that you're not going to float out of when these jets are lifting, trying to lift you up out. Lots of jetting for all parts of the body. Really, you can see there's hip jets, there's foot jets, there's jets all the way down your legs, anywhere along your back or neck area. Lots of headrests built into it. As well, it has that Volcano Jet, which I showed you, can shoot right up out of the top. Now, the nice thing is that it's not going to do that if you're sitting there. And with a jet that shoots that high, you're able to actually massage, your shoulder. You're able to massage the front of your body. You're able to do things that in spots. Spas do such a great job of massaging the back of our body because we're sitting in it and the jets are hitting us from behind. But what about the other half of our body? So I love that jet because it allows me to massage my knees. It allows me to massage my thighs, the front of my body, as well as my chest and my shoulders and that sort of thing. So it's a really versatile spa. Not to mention, you can actually sit down in the footwell, and if you want to get really deep massage somewhere, you're never going to get deeper massage than that, because you literally saw you can take the full strength of one pump and run it out that one jet. That is only available on the Be-Well 920 that we carry, as well as the Maple Series Ottawa that we carry. I think they call it the 720. So those are the two units that allow us to do that. And that's the Be-Well 920 Party Tub. This is actually part of Be-Well's Maple series. They call this particular model the Ottawa. I'm really starting to fall in love with this spa. It's a really nice looking spa. It's open seating. What I like about these open seating spas is you can see it's kind of a round spa in a square box, right? So everybody's facing everybody, so it's quite social. You see it has a very large footwell, nice deep seating. There is a couple of built-in headrests, including this collar headrest with the above water neck jets to shoot down on the neck. Really diverse jetting in this spa. It has 2 pumps in it and some really big jets, so you're getting more performance. It's following more the Arctic theory, where instead of using lots of little jets, we use less larger jets. And you get a little bit better flow and more power out of those jets. It does feature directional jetting as well as the pulsating jets to give you more of a therapeutic massage. This one's done quite high end. It's got some stainless steel accents, dual filtration, so you can have 2 different types of filters in there if you want. You get a little bit better skimming with the double filter. Lots of spots to get in on the spa because it is open seated spa. You can pretty much step in on any side, but you could step in over top of the filters as well. There's a higher seat there. This does feature the true Volcano Jet. So there's 2 big diverters on here. So these diverter valves allow us to shift the flow of water from one zone of the spa to another zone. And one of these diverters is actually connected directly to that one Volcano Jet. So that jet there will literally shoot up right up out of the water. If there was only one jet on the spa, that'd be the jet that I want, because you can get such high flow out of there. And because of where it's positioned, kind of in the middle of the spa, kind of medium height, it's really nice for massaging your knee or your upper thigh or even your shoulder, because like I said, it goes right up out of the spa. So you can massage the front of your body. Spas do a pretty good job of massaging the back of your body. So it's nice to have some jets in there that allow you to massage the front of your body as well as a few foot jets that you can reach from anywhere else in the spa. When you don't have a lounge, it's harder to get your legs massaged, so it is nice to have these centrally located jets to get your feet and your lower legs and such. And you can sit up on that one little kind of lip in front of the filter. You can sit there as a cool-off area if you like. There, above the filters, you can see there's 2 water features. Those are the laminars again. So when you turn the one control valve there, it's going to actually allow water to go into those, and they'll lift up and they'll start shooting a laminar. All of the top controls are backlit on this. As well, this has what we call a water line LED lighting as well. So this is really a fancy backlit spa, and it really does look beautiful when it's full of water. We bring in all of the B wells in this platinum color because it is extremely neutral, and it looks high-end. It reflects the lighting better than any other spa, and because we use salt water, saline in all of these tubs, the salt line doesn't show up on the lighter color, so it's really a nice feature there. So this particular spa is featuring the YE5 Gecko electronic controls, which we use on Core Arctics. We use it on the Classic Series Arctics, and we use it on the other B wells. You can use different topsides with these controls, and this particular model, the Ottawa, is featuring their full touchscreen. So this is called a K1000. So it's full color and touchscreen. Now I do tell people these touchscreens were never really designed for people with really wet fingers. If they've got a lot of water on them, touchscreens don't work that well. Just try using your iPhone and you'll see what I mean. But it is like having an iPad built right in there. If you're going to be doing lots of adjustments while you're in the tub, then I always recommend having a cloth on hand so you can give this a little wipe before you play, or wipe your fingers before you play with it. Nice big display though, so it's really easy to read. So if you're programming any of this stuff from the tub, it's really easy for you to do that. The inputting's quite nice on it. It's a good, we call this a 6 to 8 person spa. Really, if you start getting into the 8 people, I guess it depends on how big those people are and how friendly they are. But this open seating allows you to fit a lot of people in the spa. And what's nice is this is still just a 7 foot by 7 foot nominal footprint. So it's not that big. It's not going to take up your whole backyard. It's nice and deep. One of the things we always talk about with Arctics is we want to make sure that you're well immersed in the water, because if it's cold outside, you don't want to be half way up out of the spa. And a lot of the spas that are made in California are actually quite shallow. So either they have to sit you right on the floor so that you're underneath there, or you're actually sitting up halfway out of the spa. So this is the Ottawa from the Maple series by B Well. Fantastic spa. Come in. Before I close off talking about the Ottawa, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we have these in stock. So if you're looking at getting a spa soon, all of the B wells we've brought in to not only be an excellent price point, but because we could have them in stock, you could get them on a very short time frame. So if this year you want to get into a spa quickly, come see us at any of our locations and ask us about the B Well series of spas. That's it.